Okay, everyone. We lost a few souls during our lunch break, which is like why I struggle with taking one. Sometimes it loses momentum on a summit like this. For those of you that are still here, thank you. Just know we have over a couple hundred people registered, and they may watch our replays for anybody coming speaking up after me. So I want to spend a couple minutes talking about Tina, who is not able to be with us today. And I'm going to share, I asked her what I could share, so I'm going to talk about that a little bit after I read her bio. So Tina's presentation won't be available because she's currently in the hospital, but she's sending us warm wishes. And I just wanted to share that she is an educator, she's an attorney, she's an entrepreneur dedicated to strengthening families. Tina Andrews is the founder and director of Adore Family Services. She champions therapeutic foster care, advocacy, and justice for vulnerable children and parents. She draws on her extensive experience in education, family law, and nonprofit leadership. Her agency is called Adore, and I'm going to put the link in the chat still, even though she can't be here with us today, just in case you are inspired to adopt or sponsor a child in any way, help with a family. That information will be there. Okay. And I did have a message from her that I wanted just to share briefly. Tina says that she's looking forward to the opportunity of sharing her story because before she became an executive director of Adore, she does have her own trauma story that's pretty significant. So she's going to do that at a different summit later this year. And for those of you who don't know, we have 3 more summits this year. So if you're interested in presenting or sponsoring or participating in any kind of way, even just attending, please let us know because we would love to have you back. She said that she's sorry that she can't be here today. She's not going to be discharged in time, but that she will do her presentation another time, and she appreciates all prayers and healing vibes being sent her way. Okay. All right, so I am presenting next. Okay, bear with me because my slides, I need to find them again. Okay, right here. Oh no, I already pulled them up. What's wrong with my brain today? Lots. All right. If those of you who haven't run a summit yet, it really does challenge all parts of you to try to do all the tech and everything else. But I have Genevieve here to help me today. Thank you. Thank you, Genevieve, for being here. Okay. Assuming everyone can see my slides. If you can't, please let me know. Check the chat really quick for a comment. The next summit is great question. So this is January. The next summit is in May. Yeah. Wait, is that right? I don't have all my summits on my wall calendar. I have 3, so that's a problem. I'll get back with you on that, okay? I'll be thrown off if I try to figure that out right now. But thank you for the question, Genevieve. If you could put the dates and the themes of our summits in the chat, that would be really helpful. I appreciate that a lot. Okay. My presentation today is called Moments of Pause, a life of purpose. And you can see some of my credentials here. I am licensed mental health therapist with almost 28 years of experience. I have my MSW. I'm board accredited in my field and considered an expert. I'm certified at the highest level for complex trauma. That's when you have childhood trauma and then you throughout your lifespan have other traumas. Working with survivors is my passion, is part of my purpose. Okay. The other thing I would say really quick is I am also certified in energy healing. That's a newer certification for me. So I call myself a baby energy healer. But I've always been very intuitive, I have a background in Christian counseling, but I also work with people from all spiritual backgrounds. So you could say I'm very seasoned at this point in my career. And I also have done things to make me a really excellent coach so I could serve more people because of licensing laws. We're limited sometimes on where we can serve, but I have the appropriate certifications to work with anybody in any state in the country and also around the world. Okay. I when I'm not doing a summit, there's four this year. The other months that when there's no summit, there is always a healing intensive, and that is also free to the community. Now, I do promote my membership for survivors during that. I do promote Dream Club. I also offer VIP days for those people who'd like to spend most part of a day with me to get really focused help. So I do a lot of things for the community. Enough about me, though. So the reason I want to present to you the pause is a lot of us with any type of histories of trauma, we get stuck in two different phases or stages. We get stuck in overperforming, overdoing, and I've definitely lived a lot of my life there. Overgiving, over everything, overeating, overspending. We are just overachievers at everything, right? Even if we don't want to be. And then there's this other part of survivors who just get so overwhelmed that they completely shut down and can feel really stuck. This is the person that might have some depression going on, or that panic just stops them in their tracks. So both of those ways tend to not be super healthy. The pause and being in what we call that window of tolerance will make us healthier. It'll help us be more emotionally regulated. It will help us to have this pretend balance notion, right? Because real balance doesn't exist. We're always going to be focused more on family or focused more on work or focused more on this project. That's just normal. True balance doesn't exist. But what you want to look, though, is at your day to day or your week to week or month to month. And are you really taking the time to fill your cup? Are you taking your time to spend with your family? Or is something out of whack, like you're only giving your time to an area? The importance of slowing down. We all know that we're living very fast-paced lives. Most of us are. And when we do that, stress and overwhelm is super common. It's easy to lose clarity when that happens. This is why the pause, learning how to reset your nervous system, because that fosters your emotional well-being over time is really important. Now, if you've survived a lot, if you have a lot of wounds, right, from childhood or relationship hurts, betrayals, stress in your work environments, it's a real challenge to be still. It can feel unsafe to us. When our nervous system is used to being revved up, it can be really distracting, right? And we think that's helpful to us. But then we get overloaded, right? And so when we learn how to relax, we are fearful that we're going to have more flashbacks and more memories. And there's some real truth to that, right? So when you're working on calming yourself down, you have to consider that. And that is why I don't recommend you stop your hustle and bustle and go right into day-long meditations. It's just not going to work, right? You've got to work your way there, just a few minutes at a time. And doing this with a lot of grace, a lot of self-compassion. Okay, here are some of the fears that hold us back. Time. We all think we have to race against the clock. We worry that if we don't get our tasks done for the day, that we're just going to fall further and further behind. So time is something that we do worry about. Emotions. We worry if we start to feel all the pain that we've had, we think we'll just be completely blocked up and won't get anything accomplished. But what really happens is not feeling will block our healing. Okay, so we have to look at that. Now, yes, if you're an attorney, a prosecutor, and you have to go to court today, I'm not going to suggest you take some time to look at your feelings today and write about them. No, but when you are not needing to perform for court or be in work focus mode, that's when you take the time to really work on your emotions. But it's essential you make the time, right? When we're busy, that also distracts us from our healing. And I already mentioned that. And we get really fearful about being less busy. Okay. And then there's the no time thing. Like when okay, so this is the paradox, right? We fill our time up with stuff that keeps us busy, and then we are upset that there's no time to work on our healing. Okay, but we had to look at how much of it is intentional, right? Now, if you have a newborn baby and he or she needs to be fed every 2 hours, that's not intentional. But most of us right now do not have a 2 month baby at home. If you do, please correct me if I'm wrong. But we still act as if we do. Like we just schedule ourselves like ram packed and don't make the time to journal, to meditate, to work on our meal planning, to move. And I'm just as guilty as a lot of people are with that. I think what could be really helpful for us to practice, maybe lean into a little bit, is seeing pausing as a strength, right? Because somehow during our path of our lifespan, we have gotten the message we are not enough. And if we do more, maybe we can be enough. Maybe we'll be lovable at that point. Maybe we'll have value that somebody will love us. And that kind of thinking is very faulty, right? Because just for existing means that you're enough, for just existing. How do I know that? Would you say it to someone that was born with disabilities and is in a wheelchair? Are they less than? If someone is pre-verbal, are they less than? Are little babies out of the moon, are they less than? Because they're not really working much. No, we would never say that. We are all enough already just for existing. Okay. So we have to stop trying to prove ourselves and prove our worth. Okay. And this is how and why I can say pausing can be a real strength. This is how we embrace intentional choices for healing. When we intentionally learn to pause, we are putting ourselves in empowerment. Empowerment means we're bringing our power back. Throughout our life, people have tried to take our power from us. Abusers, right? Predators, right? Bosses that demand and over demand work tasks from us. Some people in our relationships that supposedly loved us and had our back betrayed us in some way. We have lost our powers. Sometimes it seeps away and sometimes they just grab. Empowerment means we're choosing to take our power back. And one of the best ways to do that is learning how to reset your nervous system. When we do this, it helps us align our being with our needs. It helps us foster deeper communications with others. It helps us live better in our purpose. Okay, now you're wondering, how the hell do I do that? Like, how do I just pause? Like, I've got this long list in my head. And I had three clients before we started the summit today, and all three of them had that same pattern of, for different reasons, of, oh my God, so much is going on in the world, so much is going on in my head. I am just flooded. And so each of them, we talked about the pause. We talked about just taking a moment and writing down everything that was in their head. So this is before I even talked about what the screen is showing. Just brain dump, just get everything out of your head. Because if something takes 2 seconds versus 4 hours, it's taken equal space in our head. So if we take the time and just dump it all on paper or on your computer, then you can say, oh, what's going to take 2 seconds and do it just now and get it off. And ooh, this 4 hour task, how can I break it down to littler tasks so I can breathe? And maybe I just do one of those little tasks today, right? But so that's just one strategy. This one here, I really love and have found the value of this along my healing path from complex trauma, because I don't think I said at the beginning, I am also a complex survivor. I grew up in a dysfunctional home where there was child abuse, domestic violence. In high school, I was stalked. I had domestic violence in my marriages. So it was mostly emotional abuse. And then also, I had sexual harassment in the workplace where I filed 22 complaints of sexual harassment. Okay. So that's a bit of my story and why I have overperformed and overworked and didn't always pause. The way I pause now, because I need so much help with it, I sign up for people's retreats. That's one of the ways I pause. Tracy is one of our presenters earlier. I've had the opportunity to go on her two of her retreats, and that gave me some time to pause. The second retreat I did of hers, I did a little better, meaning I didn't take the laptop out of my bag. The first retreat, every moment that we weren't working on something, I was working. And this time I was like, no, I really need to lean into my pause time because I can see the benefits of freeing up that mind space, freeing up my heart space, right? Now, if you are really struggling, the easiest way to tap into that is just simply breathing. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm already breathing. Really? Are you taking those deep breaths, like in through your nose? Are you holding those breaths and then slowly releasing out through your mouth? Is your breath really going to your diaphragm, to your belly? Are all of your organs getting that oxygen? Is enough oxygen running through your bloodstream? Because I'll tell you what, if you're taking shallow breaths, that those things are not happening. And when our breath is not going through our whole body, that sets us up for poor health, meaning our physical health will break down. Also, when we do shallow breathing, I'm sorry, this can lead us into panic, high anxiety. The more we focus on taking those deep, steady breaths, and there's like a gazillion different techniques, which also can get therapists and coaches into trouble because they'll just teach one technique. It drives me crazy because for some people, certain techniques stimulate panic for them because it reminds them, like when they hold, like holding the breath, might reminds them of when they were trapped and couldn't breathe, either because of a physical reason or a mental reason. I've worked with a survivor who was literally buried under the ground and she could not breathe. Asking her to hold her breath now is not going to be a good thing. It's going to put her in a full-blown panic. So we have to be mindful of our histories and all the crap we've been through and say, okay, what feels aligned for me? I'll give an example. There's this technique called box breathing. It drives me crazy. I hate it. Just trying to follow the coordinates of the box drives me insane. The breaths are too fast, too short, not my thing. And so when you decide your breathing technique, shop around. There's a million of them on YouTube. Find something that resonates. And if you need help with that, email me. I'm happy to point you in the right direction. But when we do the deeper breathing, it softens our tension. It helps our thoughts slow down. It regulates our whole nervous system. Okay. We're like, oh, sometimes you'll hear your back snack, crackle, and pop because that area of your back, and it's usually lower ribs, is what I've learned in a recent training. Our lower ribs, we're not getting oxygen there enough. So that's really important to focus on. And here's a 30-second breathing technique that you can try if it aligns with you. Now, for the sake of time, I don't want to spend time doing this in session. I want you to take a screenshot or watch the replay to do this, but this is some simple steps for getting grounded. Okay. I love, and Lisa talked about this morning, and maybe Kat too, I can't remember, where you put one hand on your heart. I like to use my right hand on my heart, and I put my left hand on my tummy. And that's how I know if my breath is going to my tummy because I can feel it moving, right? And then I like counting to four and then exhaling over a count of six. The exhale, lengthening out that has been really proven to be super beneficial for survivors. So those of you who've done a lot of feeling and regulation work, there's another way we like to say it. Name your feelings, tame your feelings. There's a feel, deal, and heal is another way I've heard it. Ask yourself what you're feeling. Ask yourself what those needs underneath it are. And there's a reason for that. So guilt is something a lot of survivors struggle with, even though they didn't cause their trauma. They have guilt because they feel like they should have done a different action afterwards and didn't because of fear, because of shame, because of relationships they were in, because they didn't want to go to court and be re-traumatized all over. There's a million reasons why people get stuck with guilt. The problem with guilt is it can keep you stuck. So I really recommend digging to what you really feel underneath that guilt. Are you angry at yourself? Are you angry at someone else? Are you deeply sad? Are you resentful? Are you really deeply frustrated? What is that feeling underneath? And that's what you want to write about. That's what you want to get more aware of and spend time with. Is this comfortable? No. But tell me when you've been comfortable and really grew from that. It's not as likely, right? In order to heal, we've got to get uncomfortable with some things, and then you can comfort yourself along the way. Okay. So speaking, maybe I'm uncomfortable. How can I comfort myself? I've got my water, I've got my ginger chews, I've got my breathing that I can do. After the sessions today, my client canceled for right afterwards. I'm going to get in my new handy dandy massage chair that I bought on clearance on Black Friday, right? So I can be uncomfortable right now speaking and be invisible for people because I have my comfort coming later. Okay. So when you are learning to change things in your life, putting things into action, just know that in order to grow, we've got to stretch, we've got to take risk, we've got to get uncomfortable. Then you can comfort yourself. Okay. So back to this, naming your emotions gives us so much clarity because it means we've got to take responsibility for our feeling in order to heal. Now you can say, Karen, why would I take responsibility for my pain? I didn't cause it. And I agree with that. You don't have to take responsibility for how you got the pain. I'm asking you to take responsibility for healing your pain. And now why? Nobody else can heal for you. Nobody. No. The healing that you've done, the only real help you can get is besides therapy and coaching and your spiritual higher power, you can lean in and get guides and get help. But you yourself have to be ready for change. You yourself have to be ready to become more aware of your patterns and how you think, feel, and behave. I love the power of morning intention. Think about starting, I call them bookends. This is how you start your day and how you end your day. These two times of your day is where you can really take your power from. Own those times of day. Do not give them to other people. Own the morning to set your intention. Own it for time for pause and get clarity. Maybe this is when you do your spiritual reading. Maybe this is when you pray. Get your movement in. This is the time to meditate, right? This is the time to get your vitamins and supplements in. Own the morning. Get what you really need done for you to be the best version of yourself. Get that done in the morning. Now you might say to me, I'm not a morning person. That's okay. I've been there. I'm changing my life to become a morning person. Okay. So if you're not a morning person, it's okay. I would encourage you though, before you start your first client or your first, right before you go to work, I would encourage you to at least do one or two small things to work on your self-care. Okay. You don't have to do the whole gamut of things if you're not a morning person, but do something intentional to set your day up for success. Maybe it's just writing out your gratitudes for the day that Lisa suggested this morning. Okay. I think I've said enough about this. Like it's really important to just set your day off on the right start. And you do that by just simply showing up for yourself. If the sun's on the screen right now, I can't see myself because of my slides. I apologize for that. I'll work on fixing that after. Okay, so stepping outside for 1 minute can be another gift to reset your mind. Again, this is a beautiful practice first thing in the morning. If it's super cold where you live, do it at lunchtime. It's okay. Taking the time to tap into your five senses, especially outside where you get a little vitamin D, can really turn your day around. It can help you with focusing. It can help you feel rejuvenated. It can help bring some clarity to you. It just simply resets your mind. Excuse me a second. Okay. Think about this while I take a sip. The boundary pause. I've worked with helping my clients or empowering my clients to work on boundaries for a really long time, almost 3 decades. And during that course of time, I have struggled myself with boundaries. Sometimes I've been a superstar at them, other times not so much. I've learned a lot about boundaries over the years. But here are some questions I have found to be super powerful when you want to set boundaries with others in order to create that pause that you desperately need in your life. So when you're getting a request, it could be from a supervisor, clients, a friend, coworker, a family member. Ask yourself these questions. Do I want this? So let's say your coworker says, I'm not going to be here on Wednesday. Can you cover my shift? And this was a day that you were gonna go get a massage and some other things. So you can say, do I want this? Because maybe there's things I don't know. Maybe it's double pay that day for whatever reason. Maybe it's a holiday. Or maybe you simply need the extra hours because you have a dream vacation coming up. So you can ask yourself, you can weigh it out. Do I want the work versus the time off for myself? And it depends on what you have going on in your life, but ask yourself. So sometimes there's no right or wrong answer. It's just what's best for you in that moment. These are the questions. Do I want this? Is it aligned with me? So if your value is saving for that dream vacation, oh, yes, this is aligned. I need those hours because I'm putting more money in my vacation bucket. But if you are feeling drained, low energy, and the thought of working that day puts you in resentment, this is not an alignment for me, then that's okay. And does this honor my energy? And I guess I bumped ahead a little bit with that question. If you ask yourself when someone's asking for a favor, does this align for my energy? Am I in a space right now that I can do this? And remember, if your energy's been seeping out, if you've been depleting it, you may not have enough energy. So you may tell your coworker, can't cover this shift for you. I would love to, but next month, if there's a day that I can cover for you, I will happily do because I'm going to have more energy again because I have this plan to take better care of myself. And then asking yourself, what feels supportive today? So if somebody wants to screenshot this and put it in the chat for people who have a hard time keeping up with notes, that would be great. Or type it up. I think these questions are very powerful. It took me a long time to figure out, ooh, what can help me pause before I choose to do something that may be out of alignment for me. Okay. Pausing shapes our purpose. What do I mean by that? Pausing helps us again with just being a little more intentional. It helps us to get a little more quiet. And when we get a little more quiet, we can reflect, oh, is this a pattern for me? Am I purposely getting angry so I can emotionally eat and say, ha, it's their fault. They're making me eat. Huh. Anybody ever notice that pattern? Am I picking a fight with someone because I have these tears that need to be released and I'm not okay with just crying just to cry? Ask yourself, where are these patterns for you? And getting quiet, what comes up? And notice when you're having emotional drains to your day. And also notice what lifts you up. Notice when you get still, what clarity can happen. I wrote in the chat earlier on Tracy's first retreat when I was being quiet with the programming she had, I got the idea to create Dream Club. Now at home, my life is so fast paced, client after client. I got three kiddos, I got a husband, I've got volunteer work, I got my church community. I do a lot in a week. And so stepping out of that to pause, I got this beautiful idea to create a community where people could work on their dreams, right? And I was really thinking about my community of people that don't have a lot of, or people that are struggling financially. I'm like, oh, what could I do for them? And so I was like, oh, and I came up with the idea of having small videos every month, a few minutes of my time, and then a beautiful workbook that my team could design to help people get in touch of what it means to dream, and creating that just was so uplifting for me, right? And it takes very little of my energy to do. So that was a powerful thing that came out. Just know that when we ask a lot. We ask a lot of ourselves. Sometimes we ask a lot of our higher power. But do you get quiet enough to get answers? You're not going to get answers if you are hustling 24/7. Answers can't come. We have to get quiet and listen. You can say, okay, God, I'm quiet now. Give me some wisdom. I need some wisdom about X. And just see what percolates. Okay. It can be really beautiful what comes up. Purpose unfolds gradually over time. The more insight we have, the more stillness that we're going to want. Oh, this feels really good. It feels really good to just sit and look out my window and look at these beautiful trees. Huh. I haven't done that yet today. Maybe I could add that to my list, just pausing. What do I see? What do I feel? What do I hear? What do I smell? I have an essential oil diffuser on my desk for the smells. What can I taste? I have my ginger chew that helps me get grounded when I have dry mouth, and I take a lot of supplements and stuff, so that helps, right? When we work on being more still, we actually are working on being more patient with ourselves. And when we work on being more patient with ourselves, we're having more grace, more self-compassion. When we can do that for ourselves, guess what happens? That flows in being able to do that for others. Okay? Nurturing ourselves is huge. So every day, you could invite yourself to practice something. You can choose to pause in the morning to set the intention, or you could choose to pause in the evening to do your gratitudes. You could choose to do both. You could choose to pause at noon and say, maybe I could actually just sit here away from my computer and actually taste my food instead of just quickly swallowing it down. I know I'm not alone eating at my desk. I know I'm not alone eating at our desk and working and just not tasting the flavors of our food. That's not a way to live, right? So pretend you're in Italy. And by the way, I'm going to Italy. I'm taking couples to Italy in June for a holistic healing retreat with my retreat partner, Stephanie. We have space for one more couple. But if you can't go, think about this. Pretend you're in Italy and you're sitting at a cafe and you take a bite. Maybe it's pesto. Maybe it's some chicken marinated in pesto. And you put it on in your mouth. What happens? Can you smell the pesto? Can you let it like move around your mouth a little bit? Can you actually taste that flavor? And can you close your eyes and just slowly chew? What's happening when we're doing that, right? We're being more intentional. We're taking the time to savor life. We're not just nurturing our body, we're nurturing our mind, our soul. What if you took life like that, where you pretend that you're on a retreat in Italy and you're being quiet, you're pausing and just savoring something nourishing for your mind, body, and soul. This is like a daily invitation you can do for yourself. And if you can't go to Italy, you can just pretend. You can use the power of visualization and say, oh, yeah, that's going on my bucket list or my adventure list. I'm going to Italy one day. Okay? Closing reflection for you to think about. And isn't this slide beautiful? I want to thank you to my team member, Jessica, who designed the slides. She's not here, but I just want to take a moment to send gratitude her way, right? Ah, she's so beautiful. And look how calm and serene she is. Look at how the light is hitting her. Does she have a thousand things to do? Maybe. But she's taking a moment out for herself. She's returning to her breath. She's practicing acknowledging how she feels. She's recognizing the journey behind her, the journey of today, and the journey ahead, right? And what I mean by that is we will be our best selves if we can leave the journey behind us a little more. Yeah, we got some healing work to do back there. We'll do that healing work and then get out of there. Focus on the power and the beauty of today. Is there lots to worry about in the future? Yeah, but there's also a lot of bliss. There's a lot of dreaming to be done. But focusing on the now gives us the strength to work on our healing and to work on our dreaming. Focusing on the now is where we can thrive. We can thrive in the relationship with ourselves, which will help us thrive in our relationship with others. What I hope you will do, I'm going to look at the time in a minute to see if there's time to do this. But for now, I'm going to ask you to put it in the chat. Based on my discussion with you today, what are some action steps you're willing to try out? I'm not asking you to commit the rest of your life to, but what is something you heard today that you're willing to try? You can list 1 to 3 things. I'm very curious. Sometimes people may not pick an action step that I suggested. Maybe it'll be from an earlier speaker, or maybe just listening and getting quiet. You came up with a better idea for yourself. That is okay. That's your inner wisdom. That's your higher power talking to you, trying to guide you into action. But take a moment and really think about the action steps that you want to take. Okay. And as I keep going, because of time, please continue to contribute in the chat, like the action steps you're going to take, and I'm going to look at those. So this is my invitation for anyone that this presentation really resonated with, because in my community, my membership, this is us healing from trauma together. I am empowering survivors to learn to lean in to their healing journey. And we do this in a way that I call baby steps. We try to do healing that is not super overwhelming, not super fast. We work on action steps on healing your childhood wounds, action steps on healing and thriving in your relationships with others, and also taking that time to create your dream life. We do this. And the full price for the program is 97 a month. And if you sign up at that price, you can earn what's called a VIP day with me, which basically means you get your money back, frankly, because the VIP day is pricey. And during the VIP day, I help you with a full assessment. We work on a problem area that you want to put some time and attention in a really focused way. We work several hours on that. And then you leave the VIP day with an action plan. Now, if you are not ready for a group experience and want to just hire me for a VIP day, that link is also on the resource page. I went to coaching last week, and the coach and the other women in the room were insisting I raise the price. I'm not doing that yet. I'm very resistant to raising prices because I have a huge heart for people that can't afford big expenses, right? I have a huge heart for that. I would be doing better financially if I didn't, frankly. But because I do, it is what it is. I invite anybody with open arms to consider a VIP day with me. I offer exactly one a month. They don't last long. So if you know that's something you want, consider using that link. And Genevieve, if you could add that link to the chat, my VIP day. Okay. In the membership, you get summit replays for life for all of my future and past summits. I think this is summit number 8 for us. And again, we have 3 more this year. You don't get the VIP bonus packages, though. I want to be clear on that. The bonuses are a low fee, and it's you're getting gifts from other speakers as well. And we use that money to have scholarships. When we award scholarships, it is for this program that we give the scholarships for. There's workbooks, there's journals, there's courses, there's a lot that we offer. There is no other coach, there is no other therapist that I'm aware of with my experience and clinical training, my certifications, that you're going to find a program like this. I am unaware of that. If you find it, I want you to let me know, okay? Because I will match their price. If you are someone that's financially struggling and you want to be in this membership and you cannot afford it, I want you to email me. My email information is on the resource page, and we will work out something for you, or maybe you'll qualify for one of the scholarships. Okay. We don't want people to suffer. We are a community of holistic healers. There's a lot of people in this membership who also are coaches and therapists, but they know they need to work on themselves, right? Anyone and everyone, if this fits you, I'd love to have you. Now, if you are a man here in person or watching the replay, I'm sorry, I don't have a membership for men yet. I do have a lot of male private clients who do not want to be in a group. If that ever changes where I can put you all in a group, I would love to do that because the research is clear. We heal faster in community. Research is very clear about that. So, men, if you are here and you want to benefit from my services, I can offer you a $49 coupon off my VIP day. Just reach out if you're interested in that. Now, members of my This Is Us Healing from Trauma community, you automatically get Dream Club as a bonus for being in that community. If you are not interested in a membership where you get coaching calls 3 to 4 times a month and support group, this is another option for you that's really low fee. We didn't even increase our fee from last year. Okay. It's $7 a month. And we also, if you sign up, you get some bonus journals. They're all digital. We can't afford to give out physical journals with this because we would be in the red if we did that, right? But every month you get a video that will encourage you and inspire you to dream, to focus on your dreams. Every month we do a book recommendation or an article that will also inspire you. It's just completely optional. But we give you a little workbook too where you can write out some of your dreams. And for those of you who would like to stay in touch with me, my phone number is there. You're welcome to text me. I will text you when I'm not with a client. My website is there. My email address is there. Yes, I want to thank you for the time that you spent listening to my presentation, and I will take questions. I'm going to catch up on the chat, so bear with me, and I'm happy to take questions. You can unmute yourself or put it in the chat. Okay, so May is the next summit. Good grief. So when's the next one after that, Genevieve? Because now I can't remember. I know October is the last one. I think July, maybe. Okay. The slides are working. Thank you for whoever said that, Sandy. And the resource page, on the resource page is all of my offers. There's classes, there's somatic workshops, and if there's a class about trauma that I haven't done yet, you're like, ooh, I really need this, let me know. Because I have this huge list and it's hard to know what to do next sometimes. Things to work on. Okay, so some people, thank you, Judy, for putting the action steps in there. Tanya, I love that you're going to work on your morning plan and quiet time. Do you want to unmute and be more specific? Because I want to encourage you to take massive action.
I've started doing a daily Bible study in the morning, and I find it best to do it in the morning before the kids get up and I get going. So I want to continue that and expound that. I take my vitamins, I drink my protein shake, my shake powders that Erica recommends, and it's starting to become a habit. I'm trying to get myself in the habit.
Beautiful.